Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your boy.
Going up.
And this is one thing I want to say. I want you to notice no one ever says that I lost the money while people are on these campaigns, right? And here's how you know. If I would have lost someone money, I'm from East Chicago, Indiana. Some of my family still in East Chicago, Indiana to this day. I only want people from the Midwest to speak. If I lost people from money from East Chicago, Gary, Calumet City, Chicago, let alone if they were GDB's vice lords, what would have happened to me? They would have come to see me. I'd be dead. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real with you. I would be dead where I'm from. I only want the Midwest to speak on this. If I lost somebody some money from Detroit or East St. Louis, Ken, tell me what would happen to me. We're doing everything that we can to break these generational curses that you guys want to say that you want to break so bad, but we can't have this. And I want to say this. If all it took was Google and YouTube and going to the library and reading a couple of books, why haven't most people gotten rich from what you learned from Google and YouTube? If you saw Troy's portfolio, legendary as that Steve Harvey interview, right? And this is what I don't want to happen. And this happened at Art Basel. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to speak there, right? A lot of people came up to me and said, hey, man, I wish I would have just listened to your blueprint. I'm down 80,000 in options. I'm not railing on options, right? But there has to be a matrix. 90% of your money has to go long-term. 10% of your capital has to be saved for trading. So if you're trading futures or options or both, only 10% of your overall capital can go into that. What I don't want to happen is in 5 to 10 years, you guys say, man, I could have got rich if I would have listened to you. And I'm one of the few people that screams, man, scream yes if I made you money. Put yes in chat if I made you money. That is a potential liability. Because if I'm not delivering, somebody can get in the comments and say, man, he up here ranting and raving and lost me 92,000. You haven't seen that. That hasn't happened. So I just want to remind you, Deshaun made 30,000 here listening for free. Stock Club has made 62 millionaires. I can't count the number of people that made 100,000 or more, right? But the only ones that are winning in real life, the ones that are winning in real life have no issue with me. I've said it before. Josh Bonawyn, Mike Novogratz, Josh Brown, man, Chris, Ari, man, one day let's get on and have a super episode. Like me, Troy, Rashad, Ari, Tay, Chris, let's go crazy. Because the ones that can actually trade, they have no issue with me or with the good brothers at EYL. And once again, I'm going to say anybody that talks to you about investing, these are the questions that you have to ask. 1, are you financially free? How many people have you made millionaires or even thousands? I'll say this. Anyone who doesn't like me, I understand. I'm working on eliminating my Dame Dash and activating my Rock and Kevin Hart. I'm learning, right? Can you give people 10 stocks to invest in that I didn't call and make the money for free? And are they better at me at long-term investing, swing trading, or day trading? In our community, we feel like if somebody's at some proverbial top, that we have to compete against them. That's not the way. There's more money in collaboration. And if you haven't hit your mark personally, and this is advice that I gave myself when I was down and out, your lack of discipline is keeping you destitute. So yes, you want balance, but until the bank balances are right, you have to work your ass off. These guys have a packed schedule today. I won't tell you how many interviews they have. It's LA time. Like, yo, they record all day and all night. They are like the Tupac and Future of content creation in the financial space, right? The answer is to do work. And there's millions to be made here. Man, there's no need to compete with anybody. I want to say this to the audience. Lastly, you can follow whoever you want to. And the ones that are great, I've already called, right? But you can't learn how to get rich from someone who is broke. The winners focus on winning, and those that don't focus on those that do. And if you've been around me for years and you haven't gotten rich, that is your fault. I've given you everything, every answer. I told you about when they were going to recreate dinosaurs and the China and Russia thing, and it sounded like a movie. Shotty told you damn near to the T, like a Liam Neeson movie, what was going to happen when Trump got out of office. Troy has told you election cycles. Hey, here's how to play this. He's called Thermo Fisher when nobody else was calling it. What else do you want? But this is the big trick. Everyone's trying to get you to not listen to us. So you can listen to them. And then when they lose all your money, they're going to say, hey, nothing in investing is guaranteed. Then we just go through this with options last year. Be mindful. And if you fall for it, that is on you. That's all I have to say. I love you all, even those who don't like me. The last thing I want to say is I love you dearly and I wish you well. And thank you for this. You'll never hear me rant again. I'm good. I love you. I hope you win. Here to afford to invest in if you're in Canada. So we have a couple international viewers who are like, great. I've been hearing you scream about VOO, VTI. What is the Canadian equivalent? So write this down. VFV is the S&P 500 equivalent. Number 2, VDY is a high dividend yield investment that you can make. Number 3, VGV is a Canadian government bond. And number 4, VRE is a real estate ETF. So there's been a lot of debate on if you should go for a short target or a bigger target. And I'll do a more detailed breakdown of this at Market Mondays Live in Houston, right? But the answer is for the next 180 trading days you have, I want you to only go for big targets. I've talked to 2 or 3 people who said they've left if they started with a small account, let's say $5,000, they left between $50,000 and $90,000 on the table, not going for longer targets. And for those that have bigger accounts, like 100 to 500,000, they left up to $15 million on the table, not going for bigger. I know it gives you more heart palpitations to go for a longer target, but you want to have your money work for you and it actually be an asset. Because if we look at it, scalping actually is a liability. Tune into the new seasons of Assets and Liability on Revolt coming soon. But you have to go for bigger targets exclusively. If there's one thing I can do over, I would have you guys do that. JP Morgan's, one of the guys, that Marko Kalanovich, doesn't see a protracted bear market or recession coming soon. We'll see. I think we're going to have a dead cat bounce. I told you guys, look for 39 on the VIX. We hit there. Now we're going to see the market pop up in our favor. Now, if we can break through some key levels, let's see if we can stay to the upside. But until we get to China, Russia, Ukraine, love triangle worked out, we won't be back to the upside for a long period of time, but we shall see. What do you think about these 3 stocks? Everyone's asking me about Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop. I think they're great, but you don't want to hedge based on defense on going to war if it would not be a primary in your top 4. So regardless of what's going on, can these 3 be Apple, Microsoft, and Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon? If not, I would not place them there. But overall, they are safe defensive stocks. Saudi Arabia. Oh, God. We'll talk about this in a second when I get off of slides. But Saudi Arabia is attempting to swap the dollar for the Chinese yuan. Oh, my God. If this happens, and I talked about it before, if we get removed as a standard for the petrodollar, we can be in trouble. But we're going to talk about this in a second. The 3 commodities you should add to your watch list. So we talked about this briefly at South by Southwest. For those of you who missed it, I want to give you 3 that you can focus on. 1, live cattle futures. Number 2, platinum. So, of course, gold has went up, but you can also trade silver. And one that's not talked about a lot is platinum. And then number 3, corn. Corn futures, ZC. Look at that market. Look at that 5-year. Tell me what the overall direction is and tell me how you would trade it in chat. Should I use a wide stop or a short stop when trading? I'll say this. You still need to practice your 300 trades. But if I had to do it over, I would start everyone on a wider stop. So if your stop is too tight, that is a trading liability. Now, you don't want to have it so wide that you'll ruin your account, but you don't want to shorten the probability of you wanting to trade. Have any of you ever, like, let's say in the futures market, been in the trade, you had a stop, it hit your stop, and then all of a sudden the market rockets up 300 ticks, and you're like, oh my God, right? Just widen your stop a little bit. If you're doing NASDAQ, 80 ticks should be more than enough, maximum 100. And then from there, you'll be good. Shiba loses 30,000 holders in a single day. Be mindful of the ones that were supposed to go to the moon. They're bottoming out. If any of these get back to 2 cent, 4 cent, I wouldn't mind Doge at 4 cent. Shiba, I'll put a price in next week that I like, but be mindful of these that are falling apart. If we can get them at rock bottom prices, it'll be a good place to possibly invest. The 4 sites to use to know what insiders are doing, please write this down. Number 1, insidemonitor.com. For those who listen on Apple, inside-monitor.com, fintel.io, openinsider.com, and senatestockwatcher.com. Those are the 4 sites that I go to see what the insider activity is. And I want to remind you of this. You must hold stocks for 1 generation if you truly want generational wealth. Investing is really simple. And any brand shows this. Like Vince McMahon has not sold WWE, right? Any major brand people are trying to hold on to for a lifetime. Any 4 companies that you believe in, hold them for 30 years and you'll be A-okay. Don't deviate because all the money is in holding long term. Here are some safe stocks to invest in. Google is one. NVIDIA that I talked about earlier. Intuitive Surgical, Apple, and Microsoft. Troy Rashad also give the ETFs they like in a second, but these are a few safe stocks that I absolutely love. Here's some dividend stocks. 1, Texas Instruments, amazing. Number 2, Home Depot. For those of you in construction, I tell you all the time, how do you spend that much money at Home Depot in supplies and material, but you're not investing in the company? You're making them rich. So you should get rich from where you're buying the materials. And if, let's say, a tenant doesn't pay, Home Depot should be paying you enough where you won't even care if a tenant misses a payment. Invest where you are buying. Apple, of course, number 3, and then Waste Management is the last one. And lastly, I love you guys so much. If I've made you money, put yes in chat. We're going to focus on prosperity and profit over propaganda. But let the people know if this is real or not. If Market Mondays has had an impact on you, Red Panda's had an impact on you, please put yes in chat if I made you money. Love you guys. Over and out.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's
This
good?
that Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clique going up. I know they can't stand it.